One day, you might find yourself wondering, what if I moved to another country and started a homestead? What if I tried to become more self-sufficient and build a life filled with simple pleasures, happy moments, organic homegrown food, DIY projects, and a deeper connection to nature? Well, if you follow that dream, you might just end up like us. So let us give you a little taste of what life feels like here on our French farm. And who knows, maybe just like us a year ago, you'll find the inspiration to take a leap and go after your own dream. Beekeeping has become one of our biggest passions lately. We love the idea of having thousands of pollinators in our garden, helping the nature around us thrive, while also producing honey that in our family tends to disappear rather quickly. The beehive boxes we inherited from the previous owners of this house were starting to show their age, so we decided it was time to give them a fresh new look and help them blend into the surrounding landscape. After painting the boxes white, we had to come up with a design that would remain uninterrupted no matter how the hives were stacked. To make the process easier, we bought some stencils, which turned out to be a huge help in creating the design. Since special paints for beehives aren't exactly cheap, we carefully selected just a few colors that would be enough for the project. Painting these beehives turned out to be a very satisfying project. Watching them transform from plain, weathered boxes into something completely different was incredibly rewarding. We're really happy with how they turned out. And now all that's left to hope is that the bees like their new homes as much as we do.
This came out very well. Pretty awesome. So now I'm preparing to give the new hive a new box, and then I'm taking the other two supers, just in case the other two hives need something more. So it's already gonna be mixed, but Julia is gonna paint the rest of the supers and then the old hives when they become free. So every box should look like this. The only thing I've done here now is to add a base. With these bases is just to add one screw on each side and then it locks in place. Easy enough. And I found the old lid that's in good condition and a top plate that's under here. The new hives are all painted and ready, and I'm gonna start with checking on this new hive we saved. It seems to be going very slow, as in there's not much traffic in and out of this one compared to the other two. So gonna check it, see if everything's all right with it, and then yeah, if everything's good, I'll put them in a new hive. Let's open this up. Wow, this one looks a lot different than what I'm used to. Yes, this is what happens when it's been left alone for 3 years. Oh, this is so bizarre. So instead of the comb being straight on every frame, this entire hive is built diagonally, completely. Every frame is completely diagonal. I have no clue how I'm gonna save this one. It's gonna come out in pieces if I try and save it. Oh no, what to do? It's like there's not one single straight comb. It's just like perfect lines. Oh, that's so bad. If I want a new box and to keep the comb intact, I would have to lift every frame out at the same time. So my best idea now would be to, if I had a queen excluder, and if I could find the queen, I could take the queen, steal a frame from another hive and put her in the bottom box, queen excluder, and then this hive on top. And then they should move down the rest of them. But now I don't have a queen excluder. I can't find the queen because I can't lift any frames. So I think my plan now is just to cut a few of these frames for honey supplies, put them on the ends, and then give these bees the hard work of building this all back up. Ooh, it's completely full with honey everywhere. They're not doing too horrible. Let's just start pissing them off and hope we don't cut the queen in half. I'm gonna take 2 frames together if I can. See if we can move them a little bit from this area. Well, they definitely aren't starving, these bees. They have so much honey. So now I've cut completely through the first 2 frames here. Now I'm gonna try and see if we can lift them out together. And yeah, all the frames are completely rotten through. The wood is just super soggy and wet. Yeah, it just falls apart. Okay, come on. All right, so I moved 2 frames in here, and then frames with new foundation. Second set of frames are in. What to do now? Now, ideally, I would like to find the queen alive, but I have my doubts now. What a mess. What an absolute mess. Now I have to find the queen. How is that possible? Okay. Need to find her and really hope she's okay. That took a long time. I'm all absolutely covered in honey and kind of filled with regret, but I'm not sure what else I could do. I don't know how I can find the queen without taking this apart. I did not find the queen, so that's another pretty sad part. So now they have four of their frames in there and 6 new ones. Plenty of honey, but I doubt they have viable eggs to make a new queen. Yeah, I think I screwed this one up, but gonna give them a few weeks and see if they bounce back. Maybe I can buy a new queen if I can't find this one.
Somehow, unexpectedly finding ourselves responsible for a neglected beehive feels like a perfectly normal part of life these days. We may not have found the queen this time, but only time will tell whether what we did was the right thing. We'll definitely keep you updated on this hive in a future video. But for now, let's move on to one of our biggest harvests so far. Back in late November, we had planted the garlic for the very first time. The weather stayed surprisingly mild, even that late in the year, so we waited for the soil to cool down properly before planting. We didn't want the cloves to sprout too early before going through their winter chilling period. Once everything was planted, we covered the bed with a thick layer of leaf mulch and hoped for the best. More than 6 months later, it was finally time to harvest. To our surprise, a large portion of the crop had done really well, but not all of it. Nearly half of the bed never sprouted, while the other half seemed perfectly happy growing in the sunshine. We're still not entirely sure what happened in that particular area. The cloves were planted on the same day, in the same bed, and under the same conditions, yet the results were completely different. Nevertheless, harvesting our very first garlic crop felt incredibly rewarding. It made us both happy and hopeful for the future. Garlic is one of the vegetables we use most in our kitchen, and considering how expensive it can be in the store, growing our own feels like a small but meaningful step toward becoming more self-sufficient. With the harvest complete, the next challenge was finding a place to cure all that garlic. After looking around for a while, we found some unused space in our storage room and decided to turn it into a proper curing area. With a bit of rearranging, it quickly became the perfect spot for hanging garlic and hopefully onions in the near future as well. It's one of those small projects that doesn't look like much, but having a dedicated space for storing and preserving our harvest makes the whole process feel a little more real. Life here is rarely just one thing at a time. While we were dealing with the harvest, Gisli was working on another important improvement behind the scenes. He installed a pressure tank and a switch for our well system, making the water pump run much more efficiently and reliably.
For this well pump, I'm gonna need an expansion tank and an automatic shut-off valve. So now I'm gonna drill a hole into the house, plug the electricity out to be able to power the pump. Here it comes out in the living room. I'll cut a channel for it later into the wall, and it just leads up to here to the box I've already put in, connected to the new fuse box. Okay, here's the pressure regulator, pressure switch which will turn on and off the pump, a low pressure gauge, a one-way valve so the water doesn't leak back to the pump, and then the exit for the 25mm plastic pipe. I just need to bolt this one to the ground, drag the wires through and connect it, and then power to the pump, gets connected here. And I set the pressures that I want in here, when it turns off and when it turns on. And yeah, we're quite close to a military air zone, so we get some visits every now and then. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. Just need to connect this all and test if it works. So, water inlet connected. Pump. This pressure tank is not securely fixed, but it's just this classic dirt and rocks and stuff that is here. Doesn't really need to be fixed so well, that's fine. It's just to connect these. There's a ground behind here. Here I'm gonna cut the live wire, so that will be disengaged and engaged with pressure. Fully connected up. Only thing I need to do now is make sure there is pressure in this tank before I put water into it, and then connect this hose all the way to the water to the field. So here's the communal water coming in into a pressure regulator I put here to make the pressure a little less to the field, and this is the hose that goes to the field. Plan right now is to put this T here, and then this valve here, and the hose from the well will come here. So is it gonna be without leaks the first time? I highly doubt it, but yeah, nope, leaking. Oh well, 1 out of 3, not too bad. Place your bets. Yeah, it's holding. Now I just have to run the hose from the well and all the way around the house. Pump is all set and working. Have it set to 4 bars, and it goes down to 2 bars and then starts pumping again and stops at 4. It's holding pressure decently well, maybe tiny little leaks, but nothing too serious. And yeah, everything is working. Got some decent pressure at the field and all is good.
And with that, it's time to wrap things up. This was just a small glimpse into how we spend our days here on the farm. Some days are challenging and the work can stretch on for hours. During the warmer months, it's not unusual for us to keep going long after the kids have gone to bed, making the most of the cooler evening temperatures. But that's simply life here, and honestly, we wouldn't change it for the world. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. If you'd like to see what project we'll be taking on next, make sure to stick around and join us again next week. See you then.